Okay, this is what we got going this morning. I got 3 rods, 3 setups. I got a long belly, a Scandi, and a Skagit. And I'm gonna show you the differences in the styles and that kind of stuff. Casting a Scandi line. And the thing about Scandi casting, the beauty, it's effortless. I'm using a floating line with a long mono leader. And the practical application for these Scandi lines is in my neck of the woods. People love these for summer run steelhead fishing on the Deschutes. Why am I showing you this? It has nothing to do with Scandi. They love Scandi lines for when early in the morning, late at night. No, not late at night, dork. Late in the afternoon when the sun's off the water. On the Deschutes summer run, active fish, it's so effortless and so fun. You get away from the sink tips and stuff, and they're just great for that. That's what everybody loves. And so I would suggest that you get a Scandi line. Rio makes one. This is an airflow, but if you're just starting or you want pleasant casting, you want to get better at casting, get a nice Scandi line from Rio or Beulah or any of the outfits that make Scandi. Get it, practice it, you'll love it. It'll make your Spey casting easy. It's the easiest line to cast as far as I'm concerned. So here's Scandi. Better yet, with respect, underhand. For Scandi, I like to start here, do the old Gordon Anderson lift, rotate to the target, stir the pot, forward stroke. Here's a pro tip. The biggest mistake people make is by stirring the pot too fast. You stir it slowly, real slowly. Don't do it like you're killing snakes. You don't use a lot of top hand, it's a lot of bottom hand. What the heck am I even doing? What am I doing? No problem. This is a touch and go cast, and we want to anchor just the mono leader, which I kind of miss, but nevertheless. Here's a much better example of anchoring the leader, the mono leader, correctly. I suck at casting Scandi left-handed right now. We have Skagit casting, which is waterborne cast. It's a lot of fun, good for sink tips and heavy flies. And when I can do the other casting practice without a fly, but for this I want a fly, a weighted fly and a sink tip. And the thing that people get messed up, the difference between Skagit and Scandi is not that much. It's just not. A Skagit line with a tip is the same length as a Scandi line without one, okay? They're both around 30, 33 feet, whatever. There's not that big of a deal to get confused about. Scandi heads are by and large short shooting heads. They're not long, they're short, in my book. Oh, I gotta do this left-handed. I like to use continuous motion style Skagit casting. So with Skagit casting, I like to be firm. Don't hardly even rock on the balls of my feet much. Stay firm, keep my hands in the box, use hand motions. Cast with my hands. There's a couple ways you can do it. Water load, kind of fast and flat sweep. Or you can do a high, slow sweep. Let's see, how am I going to do this left-handed? For Scandi, same thing. Keep everything in tight. Cast, high rod stop. Now with long bellies, we need to lengthen our stroke, and the best way to do that is to move your center of gravity back and forth and lengthen the stroke. You know, there's other things that you need to do, but you know, for long bellies, that doesn't really cut it. You know, we need to lift, lengthen our stroke. Make sure you do the same things for each cast. So I like to keep my elbow here as much as possible and use my bottom hand as much as possible in all of the casts. The long belly casting, I like to lengthen my forward stroke and really use both top and bottom hand and arm to make sure I'm having a long stroke, an accelerating stroke. The other thing for Scandi and Skagit, I like to hold my rod hip width apart, okay? So I can really bend it between my bottom and my top hand. For long belly, I like my hand up higher because sometimes I'll cheat it down, and you can, but shoulder width or, you know. If you find yourself lacking strength for any of the cast, spread your hands apart farther on the grip to give yourself more leverage. For touch and go casting, I prefer a stiffer rod because it's just that much easier. I mean, now it doesn't matter that much, but when I was starting, I had a Beulah Platinum. It was an 8-weight and 12'4" Beulah Platinum, and it was soft. It was a good Skagit rod because it was kind of more bendy. But when I switched to a stiffer rod, like I have the original Beulah Classic, and that's a little more straightforward and a little less, it's a little stiffer, and a rod that's a little stiffer is a little easier to learn your touch and go casting with. One that's not overly bendy. And for Skagit casting, I like a kind of a stiff tip, bendy lower section, just a little. And for long lines, of course, I like Bruce and Walker. Gale Force is awesome. Bruce and Walker and CND. Those are the three top dog, in my opinion, the best. For long lines, I like, 13-foot 6-inch rod to begin with, but you can get, like if you get a Beulah Arrowhead, you can cast that. They make it for, 4, 5, 6 weight, 7, 8. So you could get a Beulah Arrowhead for a 12-foot 6 rod and just be fine. I would prefer like a 13-foot rod, but I have one for my 12-foot rod, and it's wonderful. So yeah, any rod can cast along the line, but don't torture yourself. And what really is going to get you on your long belly casting is that sweep, and the end of the sweep, you'll probably dip your rod, or you'll fling it to the inside. There'll be something funky going on. Like when I was casting the Scandi head, I was looking back at my D-loop, and it wasn't too awesome. But the cast would still go out because it's a forgiving head. Because if it's, you know, the taper, it's short, it's forgiving. Great line to cast with, to learn to cast with, and then once you get good with them, you can make just awesome, beautiful, satisfying, pointy, sharp loop casts. But for this long line, you have to keep the tension out, and your strokes have to be smooth, long, and the way the stroke gets long, I like to use my arms out in front a little more and rock my body. So I don't make the stroke long by going back more with my arms. I try to use my body. And I can usually tell if a cast is going to be good if when I'm making my sweep like this, I have a perfect flat line. That tells me it could be a good cast as long as my rod tip continues to go up after it passes my shoulder. That's the best tip I can give you. It's the golden rule of casting according to Robert Gillespie, and Robert Gillespie is the man. So if I can get my hands going up, and a long line is probably like about 40, anywhere from 45 to 75 feet is considered like a Spey line, where you need the longer stroke, that need a little longer stroke than just a tight Scandi stroke. That's my cutoff point. Just I want to say about all these casts is, like, if I might not be true to the demonstration that I just gave when I'm actually fishing it. I might change it up, and just do something that's kind of a combination of all the styles that gets the job done for me. I do stay pretty true to the Skagit, but with Scandi, I might lengthen my stroke a little. I might not start right down in my belly or at my top hip. I might do a little more of a modern, kind of a combo between Spey and Underhand. But the principles are the same. Zero slack, got to keep tension throughout. Rod tip has to go up as it passes your shoulder in the sweep. Like on the Scandi, you don't really need a lot of acceleration in the sweep. Long belly, you do. Skagit, you with the same speed throughout the sweep. So there's little tweaks you can do in all of these, but you can also have your own style and use what works for you, as long as it doesn't hurt your physical body and doesn't fatigue you. The loops never lie. You want it to produce the proper loop shape and line speed. The main thing is like, if you have your own weird style and different things work for you that are different from what I'm telling you, that is perfectly fine. Develop your own style and have fun with it.